When Paula Abdul released her first studio album, Forever Your Girl, it was headlined by the smash hit Straight Up, a song that was right in line with her roots as a dancing Laker girl. She was beautiful, her vocals were a bit iffy, but in order to challenge the doubt of her ability to sing, she released her first ballad on her second album by the name of Rush Rush. One of the reasons that many of us exes are so fond of the late 80s, early 90s is because it was a time where love seemed to be possible. And for Paula Abdul, she was rumored to be in love with none other than Of course, there's no way to verify that when Paula Abdul was singing the song that she wasn't telling Arsenio Hall, perhaps the biggest late night star of the time. Although her vocals may have been a little shaky, the former Laker girl from Brooklyn, New York, still showed that at the time there was still a desire to convey love for a guy in these kinds of songs before things became more cynical. Instead of Rush Rush, however, we're now in the age of Lush Lush.
Some alarming new data that says women ages 18 to 25 are now binge drinking more than men of the same age. And our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is back to break this down. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
This is pretty surprising. And they're looking at binge drinking as what?
Yeah, so it's important to define that, first of all. So binge drinking is essentially 5 drinks on one occasion for a man, 5 or more, 4 or more drinks for a woman on one occasion. Usually this is within 2 hours. Your blood alcohol level gets to about above 0.08%. And so, yes, this was a survey that looked at over 200,000 respondents, men and women, and they compared the time frame of 27 to 2019 to 2021 to 2023. And in that later time period, the 21-23, they did find that for young women 18 to 25, they reported more binge drinking than men, which was really a shift. In those other age groups, men still outpaced women in terms of binge or heavy drinking. Now, we don't know if this change is because of more rapid declines in young men binge drinking or more increases in the young women, because we really only looked at those 2 time points and didn't follow people. But binge drinking obviously associated with liver disease, cardiovascular disease, brain health problems, accidents, injuries, so really a big issue.
Yeah, this is a serious issue. Maybe they're drinking to deal with the young men.
It's very interesting to me that the default response from Michael Strahan was that the young ladies are drinking because they're stressed out from dating young men, because we know the situation of young men right now, that most of them are not dealing with these young ladies. CNN told us that.
This headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not. Nearly half of all young adults are single. Now, look at these numbers. 34% of women, twice as many, a whopping 63% of men. What explains that? Turns out since 2019, the share of single men who say they're looking for dates or a relationship has declined from 61% to 50%. In 2018, 28% of men ages 18 to 30 reported they'd had no sex in the past year, compared with 18% of women of that age. The Hill report said men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, sexually dormant, friendless, and lonely.
Maybe they're drinking to deal with the young men. I don't know. But this is a really serious issue, Doc. But what is behind these numbers? And what's the best way to cut back?
Well, Michael, like with a lot of things in medicine, we don't have gender-specific research, and so we definitely need that. I think what we do know is that women process alcohol differently. We're smaller in size, we have different hormones, so we absorb more. It takes us longer to clear it.
Some might be thinking I'm making light of the situation of young ladies from 18 to 25 drinking more by interchanging the words lush and rush. Lush, of course, being a 90s term for young ladies that like to imbibe, have a good time while drinking, and Rush, which of course is the name of Paula Abdul's album. But what's interesting to me is that Paula Abdul was 29 years old when she made the song Rush Rush. So she was old enough to have dealt with some heartbreak, but still wanted to make a kind of song that would tell young ladies, you can still long for someone, you can still love someone. And that kind of open inviting of love is completely gone now. It is so cynical now that I can partly understand, or in my opinion, I fully understand why young ladies are driven to imbibe themselves more. Because if you're a young lady looking for love, the message that's waiting for you now is nothing like what Paula Abdul offered.
You know, young women, especially women, girls, teenagers, girls in their teens, young women in their their 20s. I want you to consider that sometimes the reason that older man is trying to holler at you is because there is something wrong with him.
Women are never broke. Tomorrow we can be rich. All we got to do is go talk to some old man, and tomorrow we could be at the dealership driving off in a nice car.
Think about it, especially young women. You know, they've sold this Disney princess rom-com narrative that, you know, the most important thing a woman can do is be a mother. Wrong. That's not the most important thing a woman can do. Sure, why not? But there's a plethora of other important things that she can do as well. Like, I don't know, cure cancer.
I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single. I, like many of us, was taught to grow up dreaming of my wedding, not of my life. And I spent many years dreaming of my wedding.
Preach to the choir.
And also waiting to be chosen.
Number one problem in relationships is not women. The number one issue in relationships is childish men.
Told you.
Guys, I'm just telling you right now, that's how you do it. You go so young, they don't know any better than to go with you.
You go so young that they don't even know any better than to go with you. That's the reason that they're choosing young women. It's not because they're just so mature for their age, or, you know, they're young at heart. It's because they know that the younger you are, the more naive you are, the less life experience that you have, and the more they're able to hold their age over your head and manipulate you by constantly talking about, oh, you're just too young, you don't get it, into doing things that you're uncomfortable doing. You know, we don't realize that that's just patriarchy, capitalist propaganda to get us willing to be knocked up over and over and over and over again. Destroy our bodies, destroy our mental health, destroy our peace of mind, destroy our freedom, because we don't live in a society that supports us. So we got to do it all on our own. All so that we are trapped in these marriages to serve the patriarchy, and we produce workers and workers and workers and soldiers for the capitalists.
Well, here's the thing. I'm the chooser. And I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single.
Okay, women are never poor. Only men are broke.
And that's the reason why women his age don't want him. So that's why he's coming after you.
The first verse of Rush Rush goes, "You're the whisper of a summer breeze. You're the kiss that puts my soul at ease. What I'm saying is that I'm into you. Here's my story, and the story goes. You give love, you get love, and more than heaven knows." And the simple chorus, rush, rush, hurry, hurry, lover, come to me. Rush, rush, I want to see you. I want to see you get free with me. Rush, rush, I can feel it. I can feel you all through me. Rush, rush, ooh, what you do to me. Now, all of the middle-aged / elderly ladies that were talking about love and dating and being single or getting married or having children have heard this song. And when they were younger, they were able to hear the song on the radio and think, well, there's a guy that I like, and when I think of him, I think of this song. But they're not giving that to the young ladies that are 18 to 25. What they're giving them is love is hopeless, men are bad, don't get pregnant, keep your options open. And I would imagine that if you're getting so many different messages other than find guy you like guy, get married, have a family, and you'll figure things out the way that you do together, then it's going to drive some of these young ladies to drink. Because quite simply put, if you're a young lady and you're trying to figure out this super complex situation in this new age world where maybe you have a college degree, maybe he doesn't, maybe he does have a degree. Maybe he has a degree and he's 5 years older than you. He's 10 years older than you. He's 15 years older than you. But he struggled in his 20s and didn't really have a chance to date anyone. And before you go on a date with him, you open up your social media app and there's some young lady or middle-aged lady telling you, oh, the only reason he's dating you is because he wants to control you and he's some kind of crazy guy. You're going to second guess whether you should date him. But what they're not providing is any solutions as to how to find a guy. They're just telling young ladies, this is wrong, don't do this, don't do this. And if you're a young lady, the bottom of that bottle is looking more and more appealing because no one has the answer for the hormones jumping around inside you saying, I want a man, I want to have a family, and I want to have a career. And everyone's telling you, put the man down, put the family down, put the career first. And then when they get into their 30s, they're essentially telling you, I don't like men at all. And I'm just going to use men for money because that's all they're good for. And that is no way for a young lady to enter relationships and life so cynical. That's why that bottom of that bottle is probably looking more appealing to young girls instead of getting someone celebrating the beauty of love with a man. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.